All right. Today we're going to be talking about the psychology of the 10th house in astrology, giving you the full meaning explained. First, we're going to be going through the components of the 10th house, the different aspects, the more detailed, granular look at the 10th house so you can understand how it manifests psychologically overall. And then we look at the qualities, how it manifests healthily in your life and unhealthily, psychologically, the 10th house, and also how to evaluate a healthy or unhealthy 10th house in your chart, as well as just being able to look at your life and see, do I align more with the healthy manifestations or the unhealthy manifestations of what the 10th house has to offer when it comes to the psychological space. So we start with the two different aspects, major components of the 10th. It is an Artha angle house, an AA, double A, powerhouse. Because Artha is our material life, which we talked about in the second house. And in the sixth house, it represents the material, the external, more specifically, our ability to survive on this planet, to be worthwhile, to be valuable, because being able to acquire material resources for ourselves and other people makes us valuable, makes us able to achieve our responsibilities. Now, this is distinct from internal value, but a lot of times our value we can gain from the way that we're treated in a material sense and the way we treat others in a material sense. And most importantly, what truly, externally at least, correlates with our internal feelings of value is our ability to fulfill our responsibilities and to be responsible and to also be able to serve others, sixth house, and take care of others, second house, or to achieve, which is 10th house, which we'll get to in a second. But Artha, it's an Artha house, a material house. This is the final Artha house. We had the 2, 6, and now we have Capricorn 10. So Capricorn is actually where you start the cycle because it's also an angle. Angles are the 4 powerhouses, the action houses where you take the most action, you put forth and can go through the most change, are the angle houses where there's the most activity in the chart. A lot of planets in angles means a lot of activity in your life, a lot of change, most likely changing a lot of generational karma, changing a lot of generational patterns if you have prominent planets or a lot of planets in angles. I have many clients who have lots of planets in angles, and it's amazing how different they are than their parents, or how they've had to struggle and work through using their effort, using their will, consciously change the patterns that have been instilled over generation and generation and generation. These are the angle houses. And so when you combine it, you get material power, material success, or material action, which is 10th, aligned with Capricorn. So with the 10th house is where you start, because the angles are the initiatory, it's the actions, the beginning. So when you take that action, that step. So with the 10th, it's you're taking that action towards whatever material responsibilities you have, or you're taking action towards whatever you karmically have to fulfill in the external world. You then solidify that thing, you manifest it, become solid, and then you improve that thing, that material thing that you have manifested after taking that action in the 10th. So you can kind of see how that they're all in a cycle together. They're all trying from each other because they're all part of the same flow, dharma. Each of the houses, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and Moksha, Kama, Dharma, and Artha are all going to be trying from each other, 1-5-9 relationship, because they're all part of the same nature. They all have the same element in a way, the way to think about it. So it's an action, material powerhouse. Very, very powerful house. Probably the most powerful house. Because when you synthesize it, you have a house that is essentially associated or most focused on material success, material achievement, material power. And when I say powerful, I just mean in the sense of it's visible. I'm not saying it's inherently more powerful than, say, the moksha angle, the first, fourth, or seventh is just most visible because it's all about that material achievement. I mean, it's aligned with Capricorn, the 10th sign. So, there's going to be a lot of similar significations in that instance. So together, you have a lot of material success, power, a lot of material actions happening in the 10th. It also is an Upachaya house. Upachaya houses, 3, 6, 10, 11 are all houses of increase. They get better over time. They are developed over time. And so think about it. When it comes to the 10th house significations, it represents your career, your status, your power, your authority, your karmic responsibilities, managing your material life in the external world, the 10th house. These things that happen that get better over time. As you age, you get more authority on average. Obviously not for everyone, depends on the quality of the 10th house, which we'll get to in a second. But usually you gain more status, you gain more authority, you gain more material success, you gain more power. You handle more karmic responsibilities. You burn through the karmic responsibilities because in the 10th house, obviously the main signification that everybody knows about when it comes to the midheaven, the 10th house, is that it's career. But a better way to think about it is your karmic duty, your karmic responsibility. Okay? And you understand this by looking at the reflection. So the 10th house is action, right? Material action. The 4th house is emotional action, emotional power, emotional energy, and taking action, initiating things based off your emotions. But the 10th house is taking action, initiating things based off of your material responsibilities or the material world or the external world. So 4th house, prominent 4th house is I do this because I feel like it. Powerful 10th house is I do this because I have to do it, because it's my duty, because someone's got to pay the bills, or because somebody's got to lead the country, or because somebody's got to step up and take care of these kids, but in a material sense, not in an emotional sense. So emotional action, material action. So strong 10th house, somebody can take actions, fulfill their responsibilities, even when they don't feel like it. That is really the most key aspect of the 10th, is somebody who can take action, initiate, move forward, manage their material life, fulfill their karmic responsibilities, even when they don't 4th house feel like it. And then vice versa. Can be driven by their emotions, can understand how they feel, but sometimes will have problems if they don't feel like doing something. But the 10th house prominent person may be doing a lot of actions but don't know how they feel and can become emotionally distorted, repressed, or starved. So they're both balancing each other. One is not better than the other. They are symbiotic in a way. And so when you put planets in an Upachaya material powerhouse house at the 10th, which is also the most visible house because it's the zenith, it's when your local space, you're born shooting out of your mother's vision. The 10th house is the one right above you. It's the top. 4th house is going towards the core, the center of the earth. 10th house is right above you. It's the sun at 12 o'clock. So it's the most visible. Power, status, fame, things of that nature. Planets there means that you will have a lot of energy to gain material success, achievement, authority, power, get lots of visibility, gain recognition through your efforts, through the things you're managing in the material space, in the external space. Home, career, home. Private life, public life. Opposites. You can do this with every house. Every house has its opposite. You can learn about one house by looking at the opposite and vice versa. So planets there, extremely powerful. They're going to help you manifest things. It's honestly great to have almost any planet in the 10th house. It's a wonderful house. Kind of similar to the first, though, what really matters is the dignity and the health or unhealthiness of the planets and the Lord of the 10th. But overall, inherently, it's great to have planets in the 10th house. They become very prominent, very powerful, and they will lead to you being able to manage your material life, which is important. It's not everything, right? You got your dharma you got to worry about, your kama you got to worry about, and also your moksha you got to worry about, your emotional life as well. Purpose, pleasure, emotion, material. All 4 things work in unison together to create a fulfilled, complete life. Let's say that, complete life. If you're lacking one thing, there's going to be some want, and you're going to have to probably come back. Maybe not to Earth, but to a planet in 3rd dimensional space, in the 3rd density, and continue working through your stuff. It's just what we had to do. But maybe you'll be on a more chill planet. So there's that. So when it comes to a healthy 10th house is somebody who can take action even when they don't feel like it. They can manage their responsibilities. They are energized, can lead, can be a powerful figure, can take charge and be in the visible space and not be worried about it. Not get that social anxiety or that fear of public speaking. They can be in the public sphere and feel confident, comfortable, and powerful, and they can initiate the actions they need to take to manage the material life of themselves and the people they care about. Simple as that. Healthy 10th house is a powerful individual, and everybody knows they're a powerful individual. Unhealthy is somebody who can become power hungry, can be overly obsessed with recognition, can, if it's afflicted, will be somebody who's flaky, who doesn't take care of their responsibilities, only does it when they feel like it, or they never do it. They don't want to take action. They don't want to initiate. They're not able to get out of bed, can be lethargic, can feel like a failure to themselves because they haven't accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, right? Healthy, they feel like a success. They're able to achieve what they want to achieve. Unhealthy, unable to achieve, manifest the things they want in the public space, in the external space. Or it can become pathological where somebody is a workaholic or overly worried about success. Like I said before, recognition. And if they don't get the recognition they think they deserve or they think they need, that can cause problems, cause emotional unrest or repressed emotions, or they repress their emotions to achieve. If that sounds like you or the people you know, well, you got to look at the 10th house, see what's going on. See what the remedy will be depending on the planet, because different planets are different afflictions to the 10th or to all the houses require different remedies, at least from an astrological sense. You also can just do inner work, do shadow work, look inside of yourself, get therapy, all those things, heal, and will naturally manifest a more healthy 10th house. And to evaluate the 10th house in your chart, you want to look at 10th sign, the Lord, 10th house, and Saturn, because Saturn is that planet that is all about our karma and our responsibility and our duty on this earth. And when you have a strong Saturn, when you have a good Saturn, you can do the grunt work, the unsexy work, or the work that gets overlooked that sets you up for that power, that status. Anybody who's reached prominence, maybe not anybody, but most people who've reached prominence had to do the thankless, behind the scenes, grit, kind of shitty work, day in and day out, having that resolve and that persistence over time to achieve that success. And I almost forgot to go around the zodiac, so I'll do that now. So we start with Aries, or we start with the first house, which they're very much aligned. Start with first house, take action, you're inspired, you have a vision, you want to achieve and manifest. You're born, you start your life path, you start manifesting it, you get the tools, resources that you need, you start identifying the responsibilities you need to achieve that vision. You develop your skills and you acquire information about it, you work with others in a short-term fashion, you get teammates to start moving along that path. You take actions and tap into your emotional intelligence, your emotional guidance system, and move forward. You solidify your core identity on your path, on your dharma, reaching your natural creative state of flow, channeling higher dimensions of reality and existence. You start solving and working with the problems and the things that are standing in your way, the delays, the debts, the illnesses. You find your partner, your mirror, right? The opposite of you, the first house. You find that mirror to balance yourself and to learn about yourself. You then go to the 8th house where you might face crisis, or you have to go through the death rebirth cycle to transform into the version of yourself that can fully manifest that vision that started in the first house, and to release any blocks that are holding you back from moving now to the 9th house where you find your purpose. You find the meaning and purpose in the difficulties in the 8th house. You went through all that shit and you say, oh, that's why I did it. That's why I understand myself better now because of those experiences. And then finally, you go to the 10th where you start taking the material action in the public sphere. It's almost like you start paying it back. You have that purpose, you have that meaning, you have that fire inside of you, you know who you are, you've gone through all the Dharma houses. It's official. Now it's time you've gone through all the Artha houses. Now the 10th house, paying it forward in the external world, doing the work, and fulfilling your material responsibilities. If that resonated, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. If you have any questions, I'm also happy to answer. And in the next video, we're going to be doing the 11th house. So subscribe if you want to keep following. We did 1 through 10. We're going to do all the houses, and we're going to keep moving on, doing more free courses, free lectures on the houses, and then we're going to go to the signs and the planets. So it's going to be, we're doing this almost every day. So stick around. Would love to have you. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.